to be able to speak bitterness, to be able to say why they came out here today. Because look, there's millions of us in this country and around the world that hate, that despise, that wake up every morning with fear that Trump and Pence are going to create even more damage than they did the day before. And just because you're not one of those people who's under the gun, whose neck has the boot of the Trump-Pence regime on it, just because you're maybe not affected yet, or don't know you're affected yet, doesn't mean that you don't need to stand with the people of the world who are facing intolerable attacks and intolerable environment that's being created by this regime. And I would invite everyone today to come and join us. This is the Out Now movement. But to be a part of Out Now, you don't need to give up what you're fighting for. Whatever your struggle is, the only thing that's going to help you achieve that is by driving out this regime. Every day that Trump and Pence remains is a threat to humanity and the planet. So we're out here to speak because we are standing with the people of the world. And we saw this week Trump take out this Soleimani, this general from Iran, shot him, assassinated him in cold blood at the airport in Iraq. And this was an act of war. And it was important that people came out, that people stood against this immediately and said, hell no, we won't go along with this. But we can't be lulled into being quiet. We can't be listen to what the media is saying and just sit back and say, okay, everything's cooled down. Because it's only a matter of time before the next outrage, before the next threat to another country or to another group of people, to another immigrant dies in detention camp. We can't let that go on without stopping it. So that's what the Out Now movement is about. It's about building a movement of sustained, non-violent mass protest in the street, day after day, night after night. This month, this is not a one-off protest. We're going to be in the streets around the country for the women's marches. There's anti-war marches. Here in Atlanta on January 20th, we're going to be out at the MLK parade, and we invite all of you to join us and be a part of that. And we're going to be out in the streets of mass protest saying Trump Pence out now on the 25th. So we invite everyone to sign up with us on this list and be a part of this movement. But I want to open the microphone up to anyone that wants to come speak. Keep your comments fairly brief, but you have the time to be able to tell the world, tell people here in little 5 points at least, why you're in the streets, why you say Trump Pence out now.
Democratically elected, anybody who's democratically elected, to put into a fascist, and this is the reason why we need to get rid of Trump, is because fascism is spreading across the world and it's destroying everything. We can see with Bolsonaro, with what he's doing in the Amazon rainforest, that is a form of fascism, destroying the rainforest and, of course, the indigenous people of the Amazon. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Don't tell me to wait another year.
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 Don't tell me it can't happen here.
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 Trump Pence.
Out now.
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 All right, bringing someone else up.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. Okay. My name is Bob Darby. And I was the founder of the first Food Not Bombs chapter. It's the best thing I've done in my life in Atlanta. We did from 2004 to 2006. From 1996 to 2004. Anyway, I'm 74 years old. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm 74 years old, and I remember the war in Vietnam. Our government routinely lied to us, and then after the war was lost, they said our casualties were minimal, and later that we killed only 1 million Vietnamese while losing only 58,000 of our own, as inscribed on that wall in Washington, D.C. Their claims were outrageous lies. The Vietnamese say they lost over 3 million killed, and Their late neighbors lost to Cambodia, lost perhaps 1 million people each due to our secret wars there. Most of our victims were innocent civilians. Their farms and villages were carpet bombed by B-52s, and countless thousands of others were maimed and killed by Agent Orange, which was indiscriminately sprayed where American soldiers themselves were on patrol. The masters of war didn't care and even refused to help our victims of Agent Orange to this day. And we lost thousands more, not included on that wall in Washington, of injuries and suicide. I lost a close friend in the Tet Offensive, killed on January the 31st, 1968. I also had 2 other friends severely hurt, one of them blinded. I have grieved for them for over half a century, and I'm still angry. Our current president, as we all know, is a pathological liar. The Washington Post alone cites thousands of fact-checked lies spilling out of Trump's face on a daily basis. He is a carbuncle on our face, and we must drain this pus and remove his contagion before it is too late. So what precedes Trump? What is it since the Vietnam War that we seem to have forgotten? Lots of decades of terror and lies. In 1973, a coup was conducted against a legitimately elected government in Chile. The coup was planned by Henry Kissinger, the CIA, and the Economics Department of the University of Chicago. President Salvador Allende was murdered, and thousands of Chileans were tortured and killed. Some people, including pregnant women, were thrown out of airplanes into the sea, and sometimes even onto the streets of the capital city of Santiago, as a warning to anyone who dared to resist this American-sponsored, vicious shock treatment. Please consult the internet for more.
Think of that was horrible. The KKK Nazis. And afterwards, Trump had the audacity to say that there was good people on both sides. I was there. I can tell you there wasn't at all. Honestly, this is going to sound horrible, but it's not just Trump, it's also his supporters. And we may not be able to get rid of them, but we can get rid of Trump if we work towards it and we try, because we have too much to lose at this point. Woo!
So who else?
Happening is the antithesis of it, and I'm also here because, for instance, I had 3 great uncles in World War II. 2 made it home safely. One of those was wounded in the neck in northern France. The 3rd one did not make it home. He was 101st Airborne, was killed in Operation Mountain Garden by Nazi 88mm shrapnel. And it is heartbreaking to think about what they fought against is happening in my country. I mean, I've even heard of World War II vets that are still alive. They just can't believe it. Can't believe what is happening, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Real war is against the people of this country. And when we send people off to war, we don't even have enough common decency to take care of those vets when they come back home. So we need to make sure that when we're out funding the military, that we need to invest some of that money back into the people, back into the district, and making sure that our society is taken care of. Because we continue to do things to destabilize other countries and cause them to become radicalized, wonder why they want to go against the U.S. of A. We need to start investing money back into society, back into these people, so we can make sure that when these vets come home from the wars that we've started, and that the one that we just initiated now from the assassination of Soleimani, that they are taken care of, and when they get back home, they actually have a country that will care about them and make sure they have funding and they can take care of their families. So that's why I'm out here today, to make sure that once I'm in office, I'm going to fight for the people of this country and not the military-industrial complex, to make sure we defund them and invest back into the people, because the real war, like I said, is for the people itself. So I'm Antonio Cortez Hicks. I'm running for Congress for Congressional District 4, and as I stand out here today, I pledge you I will fight for these people of the country and not for the military itself.
No war on Iran!
No war
That's why it's not normal. The problem is everyone wants to play by the rules that actually were set for American democracy while they're playing with the rules of a fascist regime. They did that internationally. Look, it was illegal for them to go over and assassinate Soleimani. That was illegal. That is an impeachable act in its own right. It is illegal to do most everything that they do. The question is, what is our response going to be as people in this country? Are we going to just get pulled under the whole 2020 electoral arena and say, oh gosh, I think we're going to get them out in 2020? Well, first of all, that's a lot of hope. They may not actually be voted out in 2020. And if they do get voted out, why do you think Trump will leave if he's not playing by the rules? Why do you think he will leave? And then what are you going to do? I think people here today had some very heartfelt issues that they brought to bear. The question of children in cages, the question of the military force around the world, the separation of powers. You have the attacks coming down on LGBTQ people. You have the attacks coming down on women. You have the whole judiciary that's been stacked with fascists. This goes on and on as to what's going on in this country. And I want to say, you know, we're not stopping at Trump. You have Mike Pence. Mike Pence is the Christian fascist. That's what we say. He's a Christian fascist of this fascist regime. He actually wants to live in a theocracy. If anyone has ever seen Handmaid's Tale, that's the kind of society that he wants to bring about. They're not joking, people. They are moving on this quickly. If you look at Nazi Germany, they went from 1933 to the camps within 10 years. We're already 3 years in. Why do you think those children in detention camps are going to be safe in a couple more years? They see them as a stain on society. Mike Pence, look, Trump actually lies a lot, but he also tells you some truths. When he says that Mike Pence would like to see gay people dead, that's true. If you've seen Handmaid's Tale, they were hanging dead people. They were hanging gay people in the square. If you see the fact that they are looking at women as breeders, that's true. When you're seeing the fact that they don't, around black people being actually just a stain on society and they're the best is just in work camps, that's true. When you see the whole thing on attacking Muslims and one community after another, that's true. That's why the Out Now movement is so important, and you hook up with us now in order to help develop this whole sustained nonviolent protest in the streets until they're gone. Go to the table, sign up, get some stickers, and all month we are having a month of resistance every week. We will be at the MLK parade, a contingent in the parade. I invite you to come and strengthen that contingent. I invite you to come and be a part of this Out Now movement. Bring everything that you want to this movement, or if you are working in another issue, add hashtag Out Now, Trump Pence Out Now to everything you're doing, because this is a society that needs to come forward and refuse to accept a fascist America. Trump Pence!
Out now!
Trump Pence!
Out now!
Trump Pence!
Out now!
Trump Pence!
Out now!
Thank you.
South Walker News. One eye blue.
Right on, that was awesome.
Thank you.